the Southern Ohio Farm Show. This is Gigi Neal of OSU Extension in Clermont County, Agricultural and Natural Resources Educator.
I'm James Morris, the Agricultural and Natural Resources and Community Development Educator for the Ohio State University Extension in Brown County.
And I'm Brooke Beam, the Ohio State University Extension Educator for Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Community Development in Highland County. And we will be your hosts for the Southern Ohio Farm Show.
Hello, my name's Richard Purdon. I'm the Ag and Natural Resource Educator and Community Development Educator for Adams County with OSU Extension. And today I'm coming from you from a farm here to talk about winter feeding by using a heavy use pad. Heavy use pads are very useful during the winter time because not only does it keep you, the operator, out of the mud trying to feed hay during the winter season, during mud season, I guess you could call it, during January through April. In southern Ohio, we receive a lot of rainfall, and it makes conditions very muddy around the feeding area where we feed large round bales to our beef cattle. So many producers have invested money in gravel or concrete pads to keep the cattle out of the mud, which overall maintains good herd health and also allows the animals to prevent destroying the pasture. So by installing one of these heavy use pads, producers can keep livestock, machinery, and themselves out of the mud during what we call mud season in southern Ohio, or basically the whole winter season. So for preparing for winter, we want to make sure that we install these pads on well-drained soils. We also want to make sure that the feeding source, if it's hay, silage, or grain, is nearby. And one critical portion of this is we want to make sure that there's water nearby these pads, because cattle will need water during the winter time while they're eating dry hay. So we don't want the cattle walking from the pad to the water source, because this can create just as big a problem of destroying the pasture. So we want to make sure that the water is nearby within 100 feet of that pad, and that is what NRCS specifications allow for. Also, these pads can be cost shared through the NRCS, so I also recommend that producers talk to their local natural resource conservation service or local soil and water about signing up for a program called EQIP, which can help cost share for one of these pads. But in case if you go through a government program or not, they are very useful. One thing to factor in if you are considering building a pad is how many animals are you going to be feeding. So for beef cattle, a brood cow is going to take more space or a larger pad than a feeder calf. If it's 400, the 600 pound feeder calf needs 40 to 55 square feet per head. So if you can estimate how many feeder calves you're going to have on this pad at one time, you can estimate how large your pad's going to be from those numbers. If you're a brood cow herd, a 1,000 pound to 1,200 pound cow herd needs 60 to 75 square feet per pad. So quite a bit bigger pad needs to be installed for a brood cow herd. We also need to remember that the cows need enough space to get around a feed rack. So I have a round feed rack laid here in the center. This is going to be for this pad's going to be for 20 head of brood cows. We want to make sure that the cows can get around that round feed rack without being off the pad. So I have it centered in the middle of the pad. This pad is actually big enough, or size big enough, to feed 2 round bale feeders on. But we just have one on it for now, and it hasn't been fed on yet. So the cows should be able to get all around the pad without being off the pad, creating problems around the pad, such as mud conditions and a sloppy condition around the pad. Farmers can choose to keep the cows on the pad the whole winter feeding season, or they can allow them off the pad and they can be installed in the middle of a pasture or beside a barn or feeding area. If you are building a pad beside a barn or right up against a barn, make sure that the barn has gutters and downspouts and a way for water that runs off the roof to get away from the pad, because this can cause an environmental concern when clean water from the roof of the barn hits dirty water on the pad or dirty conditions on the pad, which will run off. Also, a note to self when sizing these pads and locating these pads, make sure that you have enough area to spread the manure, because you're going to have quite an accumulation of manure over the winter period build up on these pads, and a lot of times they need to be scraped. So if they are scraped, make sure that you have a place to go with that manure or stockpile it until it can be spread in the springtime or summertime next season. making sure that you locate these pads at least 100 feet, and really probably be best to be 200 feet away from a stream or waterway is very important, because these pads need to be sloped to have rainwater run off, and we don't want that going into our creeks and rivers. If you have any questions about winter feeding or heavy use pads, you can give me a call at 937-544-2339. Everybody have a great day.
Hello, my name's Danielle Combs, and I'm one of the 4-H educators in Highland County. 4-Hers don't work hard during the spring and summer for preparations just to go to camp and fair. 4-Hers are working hard year-round, applying their skills to other aspects of their lives. We are proud of the Highland County 4-Hers who recently attended the North American International Livestock Expedition in Louisville, Kentucky. These youth are showcasing their learned skills while having fun showing. Let them take you on their journey with their videos.
Hi, we are the Green Sisters, and for our first project, we take breeding sheep. Back there are our mamas that we breed, and here are breeding sheep that is an everyday, twice a day responsibility for us to show. And right now, they're all clipped and sheared with their blankets on, so that we can show them at the North American International Livestock Expo in Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm 11 years old, and I'm from the All About Beef 4-H Club in Highland County, Ohio, and this is my first time showing at the North American International Livestock Exposition, and my favorite show to go to is the Maine and Key Junior Nationals. Oh, and this is my heifer Cardi B that I'm getting ready to show. I'm in the All About Beef 4-H Club. I've been showing for almost 10 years now, and my favorite show to go to is the Maine Key Junior Nationals because all my friends from all the different states I get to see out there.
show, 903 Teach, exhibited by Parker Chestnut Matthews.
To be safe, we need to put more thought in protecting certain areas over others. We can think about our agricultural lands and watersheds in the same way. There are certain areas of the landscape that may need more focus than others when it comes to protecting our watersheds. These are areas of the field where elevated levels of nutrient loss or erosion occur. We call these environmentally sensitive areas. Sensitive areas are easiest to identify when you consider the hydrology of the landscape. We all know water runs downhill. Areas of concentrated flow like swales, gullies, or washouts and tile inlets have outsized rates of nutrient loss. Adding conservation practices can limit these losses. A sensitive area could be where exposure to surface water resources is highest, and things can be done to limit the landowner's impact on the watershed. Higher lands situated away from water resources and lower-lying areas adjacent to a ditch or a stream should be treated differently. Here, a buffer strip can limit the amount of soil and nutrients lost from the land. Outputs of tile drainage can be managed with drainage water control structures or wetlands to limit the amount of nutrients and sediment entering our waterways. Cracks in clay-rich soil are areas where nutrients penetrate the soil faster. Cover crops and reduced tillage can help the soil retain water during dry periods and reduce cracks in the first place. Otherwise, limiting nutrient application when soil is dry and cracked could help limit nutrient loss. Tile inlets can be replaced with blind inlets, which remove ponded water quickly but reduce nutrient loss to tile. Sinkholes can be buffered and improved by cover crops and/or reduced tillage. And outdated infrastructure like tile blowouts or abandoned wells can be replaced or repaired. Managing lands with environmentally sensitive areas in mind can better manage our input costs by not applying fertilizer where it is not needed. A low-lying area, for example, is an area where nutrients will naturally accumulate, so a landowner can limit nutrient application in and around this area. There's a handful of tools and resources we can use to address environmentally sensitive areas on our landscape. And in doing so, we will be doing our best to ensure our farms and lands are playing a role in protecting their watershed. To learn more about sensitive areas and other best management practices, visit agbmps.osu.edu.
Hello, I'm Mike Estat, Agricultural and Natural Resources Educator in Pickaway County, and I come to you today in this video to talk about illuminating your house for the holiday season. Okay, let's talk a little bit about safety first. I'm standing here in front of a new aluminum ladder, and I want to make sure that we're not risking our life and limb to get our lights up this winter. I would suggest that you have a lighting buddy with you today to help steady that ladder while you're up on it. Sometimes reaching across that gutter can be a dangerous situation. Secondly, let's talk about electricity. We always know that there is a risk associated with that. So, let's make sure that we're using a good outdoor rated extension cord, and always look for the UL rating here on the cord. And I guess in this case, bigger is better. We don't want to undersize our extension cords for our lighting system. So make sure that you're using a good heavy duty outdoor rated extension cord. Once you've purchased your lights and you're ready to hang them, you'll notice how nice these lights come out of the box, all wrapped up and rubber banded together. So theoretically, you could put those lights back in the box. Well, guess what? That might be pretty hard. So what I would suggest you do is purchase one of these lighting reels to wrap your lights up on and then you'll be so much easier to organize and keep them straightened out. Hi, Clark Learswald here, putting up the holiday lights. Well, Clark got away with it in Christmas Vacation, but I would highly suggest that this is not a Christmas light hanging instrument. I'm going to show you some other ways that you can get your lights up either here on your house. So what I'm going to show you now here is a couple ways that you can attach your lighting to the edge of your roof. This is what's called a shingle tab, and it kind of looks like this. And basically you take your bulb and the socket, and this fits both C6 and C9 bulbs. And so then you insert it just up underneath the shingle tab on the eave. The second option that are available to you are these gutter and shingle hooks. And they look just like this. And you can actually then take, if you're using like a smaller you can use this with the mini lights or the C6 and C9s, and you actually just take this tab or this attachment. I'd suggest that you kind of bend it a little bit before you put it up under the shingle, but it attaches to your shingles just like that. What should you look for when you are selecting the lighting strings to decorate your home with? Here is the comparison of LEDs versus incandescents. The LED lights here on the left, you can connect up to 25 sets of strings, whereas with the incandescent lights, you can only connect 5 sets. The LED has a 3-year warranty, whereas the incandescent lights only have a 1-year warranty. But most importantly is the energy savings that you can gain by using LEDs. This is a cost comparison calculator for different types of lights. This one happens to be Duke Energy. I've basically put a selection of 6 different types of lights: the C9, both LED and incandescent, a C7, and the mini lights. What this calculator allows you to do is allows you to put in how many numbers of 100 bulb strands that you're going to put on your house. I've selected 5 each of the 6 different types. How many hours are you going to use them per day? For comparison purposes, said we're going to have these lights on for 6 hours. And it calculates an energy cost per day per different types of lights. As you can see here, if you would let these lights on for 6 hours over a period of 1 month, what each type of light would cost. And so, and basically this is a strand of 300 strands of lights would cost you roughly $125.70 to light for 6 hours for 30 days. But I want to draw your attention to the far right where it says here that I'm using less than 75% LED lighting. So if I would do and convert those incandescent light bulbs into LED light bulbs, I would be able to save almost $100 a month. So it really shows you the savings that you can obtain by using LED light. One of the ways that you can cut down on the amount of electricity that you use for your holiday lighting is to put your lights on a timer. Quite simply, it's a very simple device. You set the time and you set how many hours you want your lights to be on, and this device will automatically turn your lights off. And so I hope that you've got a little bit of some tips on how to save a little bit of money on your lighting, different options available to you, and first and foremost, how to have a safe and happy holiday.